In 2012, Spanish newspaper Marca called Luka Modric the worst signing of the summer. He struggled to find his place in the Real Madrid midfield, but once he did, the success that came was unreal. Over the next decade, he played a key part in La Decima, 3 straight Champions League triumphs, won the Ballon d'Or, and became the most decorated Real Madrid player of all time. Something that was very consistent throughout Luka Modric's life was his ability to overcome the odds. So, let's find out how the worst signing of 2012 became a Real Madrid legend. Born in 1985 in the village of Modrici, Croatia, Modric lived in a country that was on the brink of war. At 6 years old, his life was turned upside down when Serbian forces invaded his hometown. His grandfather, who had taught him how to be a shepherd, was executed by enemy troops. Their family home was burned down. Landmines were placed all around the area, making it impossible for them to return. With nothing left, Luka and his family fled, becoming refugees. Despite the chaos, one thing remained constant: football. His first coach recalled how the family was so poor they couldn't afford shin guards. Instead, his father made them out of wood planks. A rough start, but one that forged an unbreakable spirit in the young boy. Before Modric became a household name, he had to fight for his place in football. As a young player, many clubs refused to take a chance on him because of his size. He wasn't physically imposing, and scouts doubted whether he could handle professional football. It was Dinamo Zagreb that finally gave him an opportunity, but even they weren't fully convinced. Instead of integrating him into the first team, they sent him out on loan, twice. While on loan, Modric proved his worth, forcing Zagreb to finally give him a chance. Over the next 3 seasons, Modric led Dinamo Zagreb in 3 consecutive league titles, won the Croatian Footballer of the Year award twice, and became the best midfielder in the league. This got the rest of Europe paying attention. Clubs like Barcelona and Arsenal monitored his progress, but it was Tottenham Hotspur that made the move. In 2008, Modric signed for Spurs in a £16.5 million deal, a club record at the time. Now he had the challenge of performing in the world's best league in front of him. The Premier League is one of the most demanding leagues in world football, and for a player like Luka Modric, technically gifted but physically small, many believed he wouldn't succeed in England. Those doubts only grew stronger when he suffered a knee injury early in his first season. Tottenham had a disastrous start, winning just 1 of their first 10 matches, and the media was brutal. Too weak for the Premier League, a waste of money, another foreign signing who won't adapt. But then, Harry Redknapp arrived, and everything changed. Redknapp recognized Modric's talent immediately and built the midfield around him. Suddenly, the small Croatian wasn't a weak link. He was the team's most important player. By 2010, Modric has transformed Tottenham's midfield, dictating the pace of games with his vision and creativity. That season, Spurs finished in the top 4 for the first time in 21 years, securing a historic Champions League qualification. In Europe, Modric shined. Alongside Gareth Bale, he led Spurs to famous wins over AC Milan and Inter Milan, proving that he wasn't just Premier League quality, he was world class. Even Sir Alex Ferguson admitted that Modric was the best player at Tottenham. By now, the biggest clubs in the world wanted him. Chelsea made a £40 million bid, but Spurs refused to sell. Frustrated, Modric tried to force a move, even refusing to play at the start of the 2011-2012 season. But Tottenham held firm. Once Modric started playing again, he formed a solid midfield trio alongside Scott Parker and Rafael van der Vaart. Spurs would go to finish 4th, which would normally guarantee a Champions League spot, but didn't since Chelsea won the Champions League to take the final spot. Then the club no one can refuse came knocking. In 2012, Luka Modric finally made the dream move to Real Madrid for £30 million. But things didn't go as planned. Madrid was in chaos. The dressing room was divided, and Jose Mourinho couldn't figure out where Modric fit into the squad. With Xabi Alonso, Mesut Ozil, and Sami Khedira already in midfield, Modric found himself on the bench more often than not. By December, Marca declared him the worst signing of the season. But Modric wasn't the type to give up, and through his persistence came the moment that changed everything. In the Champions League round of 16, Real Madrid faced Manchester United at Old Trafford. Madrid were struggling, and Mourinho needed something special. He turned to Modric. On the brink of elimination, Modric picked up the ball outside the box and curled an unstoppable shot into the top corner. That goal changed everything. Madrid came alive, won the game, and advanced to the next round. Suddenly, Modric had proved his worth. From that moment, he fought his way into the starting 11. Under Carlo Ancelotti, Modric became undroppable. His ability to control games, evade pressure, and dictate play made him essential. By 2014, he played a crucial role in Real Madrid's La Decima, their long-awaited 10th Champions League title. In the Champions League final, he delivered the perfect corner in the 92nd minute, setting up Sergio Ramos' legendary equalizer. Madrid went on to win, and Modric was now a Madrid hero. But this was just the beginning. If 2014 was the turning point, then 2016 through 2018 was the peak of Luka Modric's greatness. Under Zinedine Zidane, Madrid dominated world football. They became the first club to win 3 consecutive Champions League titles. And at the heart of it all, the midfield trio of Casemiro, Toni Kroos, and Luka Modric. This midfield had the perfect balance. Casemiro, the destroyer who carried the bulk of the defensive responsibilities. Toni Kroos, the metronome who controlled tempo. And Luka Modric, the link between defense and attack. With this midfield trio, Zidane and Madrid would go on an unprecedented run in Europe. The start of this historic three-peat was a finals rematch against rivals Atletico Madrid. In a repeat of the last match, Modric would deliver another corner to Sergio Ramos to open the scoring. Atletico would eventually equalize and the match would go to penalties. Real Madrid would prevail to secure the first of 3 straight Champions Leagues. In 2017, Modric's brilliance was on display once again. This year's Champions League final was Juventus versus Real Madrid. A clip showed Ronaldo telling Modric where he wanted the ball to be played, and like the magician he is, he delivered exactly that for Ronaldo's second goal of the match. Real Madrid would go on to win, becoming the first team to retain the Champions League in the modern era. By 2018, he was no longer just a Madrid legend. He was in the GOAT midfielder conversation. Following a 3rd straight Champions League title in 2018, Modric led Croatia to the World Cup final, winning the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player. And then came the moment that shocked the world. Luka Modric won the Ballon d'Or. For the first time in a decade, neither Messi nor Ronaldo won. The best player in the world was a midfielder. It was the ultimate vindication. But Modric wasn't done yet. You see, most footballers decline after reaching their 30s, but Luka Modric aged like fine wine. Despite Real Madrid undergoing squad changes, managerial shifts, and a period of transition, he remained irreplaceable. In 2022, at 36 years old, he played a crucial role in yet another Champions League winning campaign, leading Madrid through an unforgettable knockout stage run. Against PSG, Chelsea, and Manchester City, Modric produced performances that reminded everyone why he was still one of the best midfielders in the world. His outside of the boot assist to Rodrigo against Chelsea became an iconic moment, a pass so perfect, so instinctive, that it seemed effortless. And once again, in the Champions League final, he controlled the midfield as Madrid defeated Liverpool to secure their 14th European title. Even as new generations of midfielders arrive, Modric continued to set the standard. Beyond his on-field brilliance, Modric became a mentor to young players. Carlo Ancelotti, aware of Modric's experience, relied on him not just for his abilities, but for his leadership. He helped transition Real Madrid's midfield, guiding the likes of Fede Valverde, Eduardo Camavinga, Aurelien Tchouameni, and Jude Bellingham, ensuring that Madrid's standards never dropped. Even as his minutes were gradually reduced, his presence remained invaluable. His professionalism, work ethic, and ability to step up in big moments made him the player young midfielders looked up to. While others declined, Modric adapted. That's how he became the Real Madrid player with the most trophies ever. But what makes Luka Modric truly special isn't just his trophies, his awards, or his longevity. It's his story. A player who was overlooked for his size, a player who was called the worst signing of the season, a player who refused to give up. Greatness isn't given, it's earned. And Luka Modric, he earned it.